Hello. We're doing another speed paint. Speed draw? I don't know. I'm doing PanPastels again. And this time I'm doing it with this illustration here. Like I did on the previous video, I sketched it out on my tablet and then I essentially used my tablet like a light box and traced my work onto a piece of paper. Plotted out all of the important lines. I decided to go in and draw all of the details without my tablet underneath because I just felt like it would be easier for my brain to understand. I lightly sketched out everything with a very light gray pencil because I wanted to go back over all of my lines with various colors of colored pencil that kind of matched the color I was going to pick. I kind of alternated between purple and blue here because I wanted the dress to kind of be like a purpley blue velvet. So I just went in with a purple and blue colored pencil and just outlined it that way. And then everything else kind of got their own individual colors depending on whatever color I was going to pick for the interior. And yeah, I just laid down all of my lines. And now it is time to whip out the PanPastels and all of the colors that I have been slowly collecting this whole time. Like a lot of pinks and greens and blues and purples, but I still need more colors. Then I start laying the colors down. Like I said in my previous video, I normally, if I was coloring digitally, would start with flat colors and then do my shadows and then do my highlights. But this is a little different since I'm working on a lighter color paper. So what I do is I kind of start with a base layer, but I make room for where I'm putting all my highlights. And I leave a space because I'm using the white of the paper or the cream of the paper to kind of act as a highlight itself. And then I blend around that. And then I slowly build on the colors that I have, slowly and eventually going darker and darker until I kind of get the shadow that I want. So it's almost like a reverse way of doing things. Digitally, I lay a flat color down and then go from darks to lights. And this time I kind of go from lights to darks. I also realized I didn't really talk much about this illustration itself. I tend to think in series. I don't know why I'm like this, but when I get an idea, I like to explore various versions of it, if that makes sense. So the Orc Girl was just one of the series that I have in my head of various pinup 1960s, 1970s, medieval revival style D&D races almost, or like fantasy races kind of. So I did the cute pinup orc girl and now I'm doing like a cute pinup dragon girl. I initially wanted to do like more of a dragonborn, although I'm hesitant to say that she is a dragonborn, as dragonborns usually look more dragony than human. But I just really like the idea of like a cute girl with dragon wings and horns and a tail because I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. So I'm sorry to everybody who wanted her to be like way more dragonborn. You can just call her Dragon Girl. That's fine for me. But I also am kind of exploring the idea of maybe doing like another pinup goblin girl or like a dwarf girl or a gnome girl, just like fun little pinup versions of that with like a 60s flair in the kind of candy cinema style vibe. So I've mainly been working with the PanPastels and then watercolor pencils. I'm only really working with watercolor pencils because they're really the only color pencils that I have. But I did end up buying a few pastel pencils, like a chalk pastel pencil, because I figured if I'm working with pastels, I should probably stick with a similar medium. And I do like the fact that they blend with the pastels, which, what a surprise! Everyone's shocked that the chalk pastels blend with the PanPastels because they're both pastels. Anyway, I only got a few. I got like 2 blues and I think maybe like a pink and a white. And I wanted to get some more, but the store near me ended up not having a lot, so I had to kind of also go with my watercolor pencils. And I realized later on in this piece, obviously, that I'm sure some of you are probably shaking your head at or rolling your eyes like, duh. The layering of the watercolor pencils and the soft PanPastels like didn't really mix. Like, I could put down the colored pencils, but then putting PanPastels over it didn't really work very well. It didn't blend very nicely. I think the more I laid down the colored pencil, the less the PanPastel was able to blend properly. So just keeping that in mind if you decide to work with watercolor pencils and pastels. Maybe try to just work with pastels. I don't know. It is what it is. You know, you learn, you explore, you figure out things, you see what works and what doesn't, and that's what one of the cool things about art is experimenting and exploring different mediums and seeing what works and what works with your mind and what works with your hand and what doesn't. Now, for some reason, all of my pan pastels blend beautifully, except for this aqua color that I have. It just seems like it has a difficult time sticking to the paper, and I'm not sure why. So I did have this tool, which is like a pastel knife with like a smudgy knife cover thing. I don't know. It was next to the pan pastels. I figured I should grab it just in case, and it did seem beneficial in this instance, and I felt like the blue kind of worked better with this tool than the little brushes that I've been using. I don't know why. All of the other pastels that I was using worked totally fine, but this aqua blue seemed like it was just causing trouble and it only wanted to be really blended with this palette knife thing. But it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I did buy this because I also kind of want to do a bigger piece, because I feel like now that I'm more confident working with this medium, I kind of want to explore doing a much bigger piece. I just don't know what I want to do yet. So if you have an idea of what you'd like to see me work on, like a big piece, let me know. for the last bit, which is adding the background, I just use this little soft dauber thing, I don't know, and then my little pastel palette knife thing, and just blended a soft bluey purple background. Nothing too crazy, fancy, insane. Just darker around the edges, lighter as it got closer to the character. That's about it. And then I also added some little sparkles in there as well. I drew them in. I was gonna put glitter, but last time I did that and then I sprayed it, the glitter didn't show. So I've thought that there was no point in adding the glitter, so I just drew in little glitter sparkles with my hand. I don't have a name for her though, so if you can think of a name, let me know down below in the comments. And maybe that will be the name that I give her. And that's about it. So once I add my little signature, we can move right on over to the glamour shots. That is about it for this. Let me know what you think down below. Which one do you prefer, the orc girl or this dragon girl? And do you want to see me do more of these pan pastel illustrations of cute D&D type, I don't know, fantasy girls? If you do want to see me do more, tell me which race you want me to do next down below. Yeah, I have a lot of questions for you. Tell me what race you want me to do down below, and then also tell me her name, and then also tell me if I should do a really big pan pastel piece and what the topic should be for the big piece. Give me all of your thoughts and comments and all of that goody good stuff down below. And I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day and get yourself a little sweet treat today. Like, treat yourself to a sweet treat, like bubble tea or maybe like chocolate or something. Yes, that's my mission for you today. All right, that's it. Bye-bye.